Hi boys. Haven't done one of these in a while. But first of all, a round of applause for Caleb. Obviously, went for a tough start to the week as well. Called him out on some stuff, and obviously didn't take it too well, but made a much better vlog than what he done. So congratulations, Caleb. I thought that was awesome. Just a friendly reminder, and Simi, you probably need this as well. Make sure like there's a lot of compliments coming your guys' ways, and like we fall into that. Like everything's built around this. Too many compliments. You know what I mean? If we fall in love with the compliment, what happens to me?
Show up.
It
brings you back to the middle, doesn't it?
Nah, it doesn't bring you back to that. But when you get a bit of criticism, it fucking hurts. So make sure we're always saying, good work for you, Caleb. If you can sort this out now, you'll be set for the rest of your life. And the other way around as well. If you're just constantly getting bagged, it's not always as bad as it seems. So make sure we're always staying as a neutral. It's easy to fall into traps, and we've all fallen into it. You two last year, walking around thinking you're lovely. We've done it through football, you know what I mean? Lukey's out and about to 3 a.m. most mornings now, so just don't come too far this way, because one, I'll put you back on line pretty back, because I need good guys here.
Just one nice comment would be nice, you know what I mean?
For me?
Just one.
Some of your speeches also.
Thanks, man.
We should give you a chance on a weekly speech, but
yeah, I mean, hey.
Alright, accountability. Me and Scope sort of had a chat about accountability the other day. When I grew up, like, I had a dad that was like really tough on me. He was always my coach. And then I always had my mum on the other side as well, who like I'll get a ground from my dad and get my mum. Kind of always had that balance, you know what I mean? Also had an older brother who used to fucking flog me if I fucked up. Like we used to have this hallway, so we weren't allowed in each other's rooms. And I used to go right up to the edge and just go like that, like, you know what I mean? Like dip my toe over there. As soon as I'll touch it, he'll chase after me, flog me. Accountability, roll into first grade. Probably the best lesson probably me and Scope learned from first grade is accountability. There's times where, like, if you let a try in, you have to go back and face your teammates. If you lose a game, you have to obviously go see your teammates, go see your coach, be accountable to fans, but then at the end of the day, you have to go home and look yourself in the mirror and go. So, another one as well, and I know probably looking over there, this direction of the room, accountability is not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. And if you can find people that hold you accountable, that's where growth lies, and growth happens on the other side of that as well. So make sure, if you've got too many people telling you yes and telling you you're great, you can fall into that fucking trap. You can't be you can't criticize too much on the other side as well. But make sure we all start to hold each other accountable. And do it in the right way. Like one of our big things here is being a good team player. Like that's number one of our core values. And I come in hard on Caleb at the start of the week, and I think Lukey done a really good job with recognising he was a little bit frustrated and upset, and come in and just helped him out a little bit. And I think Scope does it really well. Geordie, when you were having a chat with Caleb, I think that's really important. Being a team player, but make sure we hold each other accountable. Because like I said, I'm going to crack the whip a little bit harder. I want our standard to be higher. So I'll set the pace, and I want to try and hold the pace, and then I want our standard to be to a point where I don't have to be here, and Jackson can take over, Lukey can take over. When someone else comes into the system, it's like, nah, that's not what we do here. Yeah. Like we do it like this, we work hard. So that's really important. And the sort of analogy I'm sort of thinking of at the moment, you do Wakayama back in the day?
Yes.
You would have done it at Kingston together?
I've done it a little bit in growing.
So this is us right now. And one thing I am going to do is try and spend a bit more one-on-one time before you guys as well. I think you thrive with one-on-one time, especially you, Geordie. You probably need a bit too much. But like, think of us like, and like as leaders all, sometimes leadership's not about as hard as you can paddle, but trying to get everyone to paddle in the right direction. Yes. Cool? So right now, say if I'm like, oh, the boys just going to follow me, and I just start going like that, what happens to the waka? What happens to the thing?
Not around in circles.
That's it. And sometimes, I think my biggest flaw is like, oh fuck, get out of my way and I'll try and do it myself. But what happens? We just go we just go around in circles. So I think the one-on-one time is like teaching the boys how to hold a paddle and how we can row, so we can go that way up to the top. Self-awareness and self-assessment. So if they say great guys are built in solitude, who thinks they're self-aware?
Self-aware.
Yeah. Everyone's pretty self-aware in it. Now the next part is who has self-assessment. Does anyone have a difference?
Is that keeping up to that level all the time? Like,
So-
or is this
So
isolated?
I'm going to use Jordan as an example.
Yeah.
I think Jordan's probably one of the most self-aware people you ever meet. Like some of the stuff that happens to him, I'd never talk about it ever. And he's open to talk about it and get it out there. But the thing is, he probably doesn't have the self-assessment thing. So he can understand where his flaws are, but he doesn't do anything to correct the behavior. So they say like great guys are built, great men are built in solitude. Like if you look at all of the great philosophers, they spend time on their own, they're comfortable in their own mind, they're thinking and they can develop those thoughts. That's self-awareness. The self-assessment is understanding self-awareness and doing something about it. Cool? And that's like self-awareness is hard. And if you know you're truly self-aware if someone makes a joke about you and you don't get offended. Because they say every joke has an element of truth to it. So if they say something like, oh, you've put on a bit of weight, and you get offended by that, you're not self-aware. And there's always going to be phases where we're more self-aware and then we're not. But this is where I think all of us over here are pretty okay at self-awareness. I don't think we're here. And sometimes that's daily reflection. Sometimes that's looking back on what did I actually do today? And this is where growth happens down here.
I think Caleb's still learning that. I wasn't self-aware about this is not something to crack Caleb, but I hadn't figured myself out in things.
No.
So I looked by myself, and I was away overseas. Like it took me until I was a little bit older to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I think like
It'll take time.
He'll still be
It'll take
finding
time.
out who he is, I reckon.
And even now, like we talked about accountability, and obviously you guys know I've got a pretty good relationship with Anthony, but sometimes in terms of accountability, but he just smacks me fucking straight right here. And I don't like it at the time, and I'm emotional, I get frustrated. Like obviously sometimes when I call you boys out, you guys probably feel the same about me. Fuck, I just want to knock this cunt out. But over time, when I look back and the emotions calm down, I sit back and look back on my day, sometimes he's right, you know what I mean? Most of the time he's right. So if you got some, you know what, you've actually got a point there as well. So most of the times, if you can find someone who can hold you accountable, cherish them. Because the guys I look back on that helped me in my life, my parents, my brother, and probably my first grade coaches as well, they're really important to me. I don't remember the guys that just gassed me up all the time. And me and Scope, we were never talented football players, and we hung around Hainsey and Normie in this time. And you just see the fake people around the neighborhood, like the ones that just gas them up and shoot the whole thing. Dangerous people to be around. They don't hold you alive, they don't hold you accountable. Motivation. How do we feel about motivation? What's your thoughts on motivation, Jackson?
Just in general?
Just in general.
Yeah, it's a good vehicle to get you where we want to be. Everyone needs motivation, otherwise it gets tricky.
Motivation, like, well, sorry, what was the question?
Like when you hear this word motivation, like how do you feel about it? Like do you understand it? Do you?
Yeah.
I was still going to start myself if I'm going to get involved in anything.
Good place to start. Yeah, good place to start. So there's actually like 3 types of motivation that you can roll through. So the first one is pretty hard, survival. So survival motivation, if I said it today, all right boys, all you guys are out of jobs, would you be motivated to do something about it? Like obviously you'd be frustrated, you've obviously got your circumstances have changed, you'd be motivated to have basic survival. And what survival is now, is just a roof over your head, clothes. Yeah? So everyone would be motivated to do that. And I felt when, if you looked at YKTR, my early phases, like I almost ended up broke. I was in the grocery store with gold coins. I was a first grade player the year before. The next year I was walking with gold coins and my card broken down. I was skateboarding to drop off packages. But I looked fucking motivated because I was trying to fucking survive. That's all it was. I had a mortgage to pay. I almost forfeited my mortgage. Almost ended up dead broke. And it was never like that. I couldn't go and stay on Corey's couch. She could give me $1,000 one time to get me by. But I'd work 16 hours a day because I was just trying to fucking survive. And I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. So that was my main form of motivation. Once your basic needs are met, you say your wage, you can pay your rent, motivation falls into 2 different things. So intrinsically motivated.
What is it, sorry?
Intrinsically. So intrinsically goes, it's understanding, and the other one's extrinsically. So intrinsically motivated means it comes from within. So if you look at someone like Cameron Smith, it always looked fun for him to play football. The reason why I can come to work every day and enjoy it is because this is fun for me. And that goes back to values. So if I go, all right boys, let's go get on the piss at lunchtime,
Yes.
would all the boys be in?
Yes.
Because we're intrinsically motivated at that because we value having a good time. So what you guys need to figure out is what intrinsically motivates you, and it goes back to what your values are. Now, the other side of that is to be extrinsically motivated. So that means you need someone from the outside to encourage you to go do something. So, Lukey, exercise. Are you intrinsically motivated or extrinsically motivated to exercise? So you've got Simi going, come down to boxing, oh, it's just across the road. That's because you don't value health or fitness right now. That can change, but you're intrinsically motivated to come to work and help us to get better because you value YKTR. You value what people think of you as work ethic. Simi, you probably need to intrinsically motivate to exercise because you do that really well and have a good time, but extrinsically we need to, you know what I mean? Your values aren't as high as someone like me or think, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, this is not a stab. Everyone's got their own core set of values on what we value the most and what we value the least. But what you guys need to figure out is what you value the most. Caleb's motivation might be, and I said to him via private text, like, YKTR should just be like a university for you because you're probably going to be too good in 2 years to hang around here. You might go live in Hawaii. Like, I go, I'm looking forward to the day I shake your hand and you go fuck off and live in Hawaii and go skydiving. Chase skills over there. Like that might be his ultimate value, to learn as much as he can, stack up some cash and move over there and build a bit of a profile. That's cool. As long
Heaps good waterfalls over there too.
yeah, backflip off the Honda. And like that's cool. Like, but I'll never judge you on what your values are. Your values might be money. Your values might be family time when that time comes around. Your values might be fucking we get up for Magic Round every year. But the thing is, if you want to be intrinsically motivated, you understand what that is. But then we move that back to that waka. If we can all paddle in the same direction, we all get there a lot quicker. The bigger, like I had everyone in the comments go, Caleb deserves a pay rise. And if it's just consistent and he rocks up to work, pay rises come. I'll happily give you any of you guys a pay rise when the time comes for it as well. The time's going to come. Make sure we're wrong in that right direction. Energy plus environment, energy consultant. How does this
Consultant, man, come on.
How does this matter to me? Oh no, here's like, we started off with really rough, not a rough start to the week, but like I come in a little bit hard, and then whenever there's change, there's always going to be friction. When you start exercising, it's fucking hard, and you start to feel sore, you're going into boxing training. There's always going to be that friction, but once you can get over to that, it starts to become really nice. So if you look at our start of our week till yesterday, Thursday, biggest vibe in this place. Fucking grouse on a few rare content, it's really cool. Caleb has taken his vlog from, he would have said it was a 10 at the start of the week, he probably turned it into, it was close to a 10 once you finish, you know what I mean? And that's from energy and environment and accountability and all these things. But if you look at energy and environment, it actually comes back to matter. So let's go. Got a bucket of water, and if I had a bucket of water like that, what would happen? You'd be wet. So what actually happens is if we change the environment of this water, so water doesn't disappear, it just changes into different matter. So say we heated up the room, got it to 50 degrees, what happens to the water, Jackson? Oh, so what happens to the water at 150 degrees? Evaporates. So if you think of water, it starts to evaporate. Let's go. I hit you with a bucket of mist, what happens? Don't feel it?
Seems to play.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
It might be nice, it might be like it's like we're in a Suncorp again and it's just drizzling down. Now the other way, Simi, if I freeze this water, what happens?
Ice cold, baby.
Ice cold?
Yeah, fucking probably knock me out.
Simi, now I throw the bucket at you, what happens?
Yeah, probably fucking boom.
Knock you out?
Knock me out. Yeah.
You've got some of these things.
What does this water freeze at? 0? Hold for the thermometer. 0 degrees. Now, what you got to understand, what's the difference between the mist, the water, and the bucket of ice?
Temperature.
The environment.
Environment. That's it. So once you change so matter doesn't change for what it is, but when you give it a different environment, it starts to change as well. So if you, Nikki, you already asked this question before. How much of the body is water? See where I'm going? whatever so we're basically just big fucking cups of water. And once we expose ourselves to different environments, it reacts to how we react. Everything is just vibration. Remember the first conversation that we ever had? It was all about vibrations, from the music that you listen to the social media content that you consume, to the people that you hang around, to even the tattoos that you put on your body. Everything is about environment and external factors that changes your body. So if we're in a positive workspace with positive people doing positive things, we're going to breed some pretty positive fucking people, and with that comes positive results. So once you understand, always think we're just big fucking bottles of water, and whatever our environment is, what we listen to, what our podcasts that we are, the people that we hang around. You know the saying, you are the 5 people that you hang around the most. You hang around 5 million years, you're going to be the 6. That's the environment we've got to change. And it all goes back to all this little vibration on the outside. You know what the best thing about energy is? To me,
It's contagious.
it's contagious, but we can control it. If we're walking through and everyone's, I don't expect life to be perfect, and it never is. And if we had a reality TV show, we'd be the fucking Kardashians of Australia. But once you cross through that door, that's everything we can control. We can control attitude, we can control energy, therefore over time we can control results. Okay? Keep bringing in the energy, but we've had our week started about a 3 out of 10, we're operating about an 8 or 9, now it's just how the fuck do we back this up week after week after week. Alright, Simi, anything?
No, man, I'm good.
Anyone?
So I just reckon these meetings have been really good.
Yeah.
And I'll keep us going, right?
Cool.
Sure.
Some brought up before.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me.